Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is a weekend review for the week ending December 16th, 2022. Quadruple witching is over. We now have a little less than 2 weeks left in the year. You have another rejection at a declining SMA 50 on the weekly. Momentum set a higher high, price set a lower low. ADX is now going up again as price is heading down. There is no trend. ADX is 14. What do I mean by no trend? Price is stuck between where she was in June and where she was in August, that range. So it's almost as if she hit her target here and now has gone sideways. But again, it's very subjective using counts. I'll share a few with you today, but from where I sit, this is a reversal candle on volume. We don't have any weekly buying. And yeah, we're looking at a retrace of the recent move from October to November. If we zoom into the daily, you'll see that PPO has reset to the zero line. So this is the do or die moment, just like you have here, just like you had here. Okay, price came back. You will get a rally, you'll get some action, but the difference between here and here is the slope of the 50 is up. The slope of the 50 was up here, didn't mean anything. The bulls defended it, they tried, and they failed. So what you're likely going to get here is something just like that. Another attempt, and likely another failure. You have a gap here, and a gap here. If you take the after hours off, they're very obvious. So really 4 straight down days of 7%. So the question is, are we in the middle of a crash, or is this a pullback in an uptrend? It is still too early to tell. What I can tell you is a 50% retrace is very healthy of a 20% move that took almost 4 weeks. Now, you turn after hours on, and price put in a 50% retrace on Friday. So that is done, it's in the books. So from here, what we're going to find out is really price can pull down to this 373 level, find a bid, and then fail. And so what you need to see is something just like this. Sorry, this is not working this morning. That's the move we just had. Whether you draw it there or here, it's kind of irrelevant. And if this is an ABC pattern in a downtrend, you should get another one on the weekly. So ABC up, ABC down, and then 5-wave moves up. And we'll take a look here at the 3 different counts that I have. Either A, we are in a much steeper downtrend that just started. 5-wave move down, ABC up, 5-wave move down, ABC up. So what this implies is we're in the wave 3 of 3, which is the strongest downtrend. And if you look at the daily chart we were just looking at, this is a pretty strong start to the down. Come on. This thing is not working today. All right, so where we started, way steeper. See, this is shallow, way steeper. But where we just were, this was actually steeper. This was a steeper move down than what we've just experienced, but what we've experienced isn't over yet. So this is one count. Here's another count where it's an ABC, ABC, ABC. That has us down around 320. And here's the final count that I was just showing you, where you've put 5 waves up, 3 waves down, another 5 waves up. So it's impossible to tell at this point what we're in the middle of. But what I will say is we nailed this top here. And what you had to do was trim 50% of your holdings. I talk about this all the time, and ride the winners. Right now, the ETFs are not producing like the individual stocks. The three stocks that I'm focusing on are NVIDIA, Crocs, and EMPH. They've been performing very, very well, and the pullback has been shallow in each of those names. We're going to make this video real quick. We'll run through the other names. IWM. What do you know? 50% retrace in the books. 61% retrace in the books. And if you look at the weekly, now back below the 200 again. So in my book, this is a descending triangle, and she's probably going to pull back to 164 before she rallies again, just to get rejected at the 200 one final time before you get another move lower. It's possible that move looks just like this, come right back to this POC. But again, this is bad, right? Because you're coming into the 50 on the monthly here, and you're not rallying at all. What's going on here? These things do not want to work today. There's a gap on the monthly at 152. You can see why this is a very, very important area for the bulls to defend. And if you look at this, we're already below last month's low. And if we zoom in, let's see, did we break it? 182, nope. So if you look at this, we've put in an ABC corrective move, and the bulls should rally from here. But what I'm telling you right now is this looks like a descending triangle, and it looks like price is headed to 163. Look at the Qs. Gave up the 200, really without a fight. Came in, captured it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks just to give it right back up. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's generally not how these things work. But it's the Qs. There's a lot of participation on the Qs. And right now, they're not ready to die yet. Or they weren't ready to die yet. And now they're telling me they are. So in 1 week, you've erased 5 weeks of trading in 1 week. And so it's really simple, the message on all of these charts. If the bulls can't get above the high from this previous week, it's over. And if they close below this next week, it's a continuation down. So the lows from this Friday are the lines in the sand for the bulls and the bears. If the bulls can't close inside and then break up the last week of the year, they're going to close it at the low of the year. They're closing at the low of the year, no doubt about it. This is a very nasty candle on volume, and one needs to respect the risk, respect this signal. Right now, it's telling you that 259 to 263 is on the table. And I could draw a little line like this and say, look, yeah, we're going to come down here. That's possible. And then they rally back and close inside and then break bull the final week of the year. But what I will say is this is a very ugly look, just like all the charts. And when you zoom in and you do the 50% retrace like you've done in all these charts, we're right in that zone. We can't go any lower. She cannot go any lower. This was an expanding triangle that broke bear. That simple. A, B, C, D, E. And now she's breaking down to the bear. Now it's possible this is a false bear break. Triangles have many, many premature and false breakouts. So, and again, if you're shorting this breakout, come on. This tool is not working today. If you're shorting this breakout after a 9% down in literally 3 days, it's likely not going to work. If you look at the bands, close below the bottom of the band. So this has already done a huge 2 standard deviation move for mean move. but it's right in a support area, okay? So again, you missed the sell. What you're looking for if you want to sell is a 50% retrace of the move you just had. So rally back up into this zone. And then another leg lower. You're looking to sell 286. You're not looking to sell down here at 272. Okay? So this is either our 5-wave move up, like we've been talking about. I showed you those 3 potential counts. And now we're in wave 2, which is where everyone throws in the towel. Or this was a big ABC up. And now we're about to get another impulse move lower. It's impossible to tell. All I can tell you is momentum is down. And when momentum has reset to the 0 line, like we have on all these charts, and ADX has reset to a trough, you need to see what happens next. You can't make any definitive conclusions based on this. You need to be patient and see what happens next. And so now that we've looked at all these sectors, let's pull up the strongest one, which is SMH, which does look very different than the others. Still above the 20, still above the 10 on the weekly. None of the others are that. So yeah, SMH is the strongest, no doubt about it. Still outside this macro downtrend. And if we draw it a little bit more like that, you can see we're right at it. We're consolidating here at it. And if this was a corrective pattern, she just completed on Friday. And you can see a doji on Friday, which is a reversal sign at a key level of support, which is the low here of 212. Now, if this fails, this trend line here, this gap here, the 50% retrace, just like we have in all these charts, is in play. And that is one thing of note, that SMH has not hit that. SMH is so strong, she hasn't hit that level yet. So again, if we zoom into SMH, NVIDIA is the leader I see within SMH. And she's still performing very, very strongly. You look at the weekly, that is a inside bar, but that is a reversal candle at a declining 50. And what I am looking for now is if we can get this inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, pull back to 150. It's also possible this is a cup and handle, a big cup. Now you're putting in the handle. Either way, 148 to 138 is the chance to buy. This was your chance to sell, and I did sell some up here, and this is our chance to buy. EMPH is another name I like a lot. ABC into a rising trend line. Potential false breakout, but again, still above a rising 20. Nothing really wrong here yet. Okay. You could say, oh, she's broken down. I can also draw like that. I can also do something like this. I mean, this is so subjective. The bottom line is that the bands are squeezing tighter, and we are still inside this very long, drawn-out bull flag pattern. Crocs is the final name that I like. Still, this is what I want to point out, right? These massive moves, 133%, and then we've pulled back 13%. That's nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. And really that 50% area is this 85. This zone is the zone. And so pullbacks into 85 are for buying right now. And if you look at this setup, PPO has reset to 0. She's almost there. She'll hit there this week, and that's where we're going to find out. Is this a big bull flag pattern? And if it is, look for a mirror image move all the way up here. The bear side of this is that we just rallied into the 20 on the monthly, closed above it just to give it right back up. If you look at the weekly, though, still above a rising 10, still above a rising 20, ADX all the way up here at 37. So this is a trend. This is trend mode activated. And PPO, this is a very strong angle of attack. Just like this angle persisted for a very long time, this angle can persist for it's not straight vertical. It's a nice 35, 45 degree angle. Histogram positive, PPO very positive, pulling back into a rising 10 is very healthy. Could even pull back into a rising 20. Could pull back into this uptrend. However you want to draw it. So again, very, very strong names. Those are the three names. Those are the three holdings that I have, that I still have 50 to 60% of my portfolio in. And again, all you need are names that are working well. Here's another name that's continued to work well all year is APA. Again, is this a lower high? Right? I don't know. Is this a rejection at this uptrend? It sure looks like it. And this looks like a distribution phase now. And that she's range bound. So this name has worked all year. And if she stays above 40, 39, it's going to continue to work. If she doesn't, 34 to 30 is where I'm looking to buy her back. Let's take a look at bonds real quick. Breaking out. And the title of last week's video was bonds are pulling back. And they did, but not really. That's an inside week. And if you look at the daily chart here, this is kind of a bull flag. But this is what I wanted to point out. PPO is now, histogram's at 0. PPO is bearish cross and is looking to pull back to the 0 line. And when this happens, this is where you look to buy bonds. And if this is a failed breakout, what will happen is she'll come back in here, fail this retest, and start heading back towards the lows. So bonds are definitely on my watch list this week. And if you look at the ratio of SPY to bonds, or equity to bonds, you can see it just pulled back to the 200, which is in a very clear uptrend. Pulled back to the 50 on the weekly, clear uptrend. No damage yet, but if price can get below this level, then you will see me get rid of equities and look to allocate fully into bonds. We just don't have that yet. Take a look at TNX, and this is the demand zone that we were looking for. The weekly 20, she came into it, and now she's not really rallying. So if this thing breaks down, 250 could be in play. And if you see these bands, they're starting to pinch, right? They're coming in to price. So PPO's not at the 0 line yet. This thing could be pulling back just like she did here. She could be pulling back for a while. And this is a triple bearish divergence. 3 highs, 3 lower lows in momentum, and the pullback to the 20 is not catching a bid. So this is also telling me to take note that bonds might be ready to go. When we look at gold and silver, they can't get above the 50. This is a problem. And PPO is still negative, and ADX is now starting to rise with price, but we're not seeing any trend. So that's all I got. I told you this video would be short. If you like it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it on social media, and we'll see you next week.